go. The opinions and views expressed in this podcast are solely those of the Mortgage Dudes only, and not those of Equity Resources Incorporated or Greentree Mortgage Services. We're not crazy. Think of them as your slightly odd, yet occasionally hilarious uncles that are very knowledgeable about mortgages. I will say, together they have over 45 years of experience in the housing market, and that may or may not have included bourbon, beer, and cigars. They are here to enlighten and entertain, and we cannot be responsible for the language or jokes. So buckle up and be ready. Things are about to get interesting.
Absolutely, you can wait for the rates to drop. When that's going to happen, nobody knows. So-called experts can say, but they're full of crap. Then your little gypsy guy sitting over with a Ed's type of head and shining it and reading
only
the future.
Buddha may know.
There you go.
Go.
But then the biggest thing is too is you. Hey everybody, welcome to Mortgage Dudes. I'm Shane Marzullo, and that pretty face there
is the one and only Ed Maloney from the fishing capital of Massachusetts. Keep going, baby.
That's funny. Yeah. The Taxachusetts is, I still love that name for you guys. I think it's awesome.
We get screwed every which way to Sunday with zero lubrication.
I just think it's hilarious that you can't buy flavored cigars. Like when I say flavored, I mean like they're like sweeter, not like mint or lavender like my one friend Steve has, which is I'll tell you about that story. But yeah, you can buy weed.
Yeah, we get
logical. It's logic,
and we get taxed on everything. We have an excise tax that we pay the town to own a car. So you buy a $60,000 vehicle in year one, you're paying your town $1,500.
Really?
This is separate from the sales tax. That's 6.25%. You were paying it just to own that vehicle. Each year it goes down because they depreciate it.
I didn't.
But and then we have inspection stickers. Let's move on to
you do have inspection stickers on your place?
Yeah.
See, Ohio does not. In Ohio, the excise tax we have is purely for alcohol and cigars.
Any asset we have is a separate tax to own the asset. It's my boat.
You know what? If you're living in Massachusetts, you must really love the state because that's crazy. That's, I mean, granted, you're close to the water. I mean, how far is it before you can get to how long does it take to you from your door to the boat? How long does that take you?
12 minutes. In traffic.
In high traffic.
In high traffic.
And that's impressive.
We talked about Tennessee. We went through Tennessee.
Yeah.
$1 million house or something. You told me had $2,000 in taxes. It was insane.
Yeah, less than that. And they have no state tax.
We're actually headed to Tennessee at the end of June for my wife's blank birthday. We don't say her age because we might get slapped.
Her 39th birthday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to insult her by saying she's 29 because there's no way she would be that dumb to marry an old man like you at 29.
So Shane, tell me about golfing so far and what's going on with golf.
Golf's been great. We've had, it's funny, my league started like almost 4 weeks ago. The very first day of golf league, 81 degrees. We're like, yeah, this is it. This is our year. The next 2 weeks, 55 and 57. And then last week was a whole whopping 65, which I'm going to tell you, at 65 degrees, it was like a heat storm compared to the last 50 degrees. It was killing me. I am proud to say I'm 100% a fair weather golfer. If it's below 65 and it's not my league, I'm not doing it. I have zero ambitions to do that. I will stay home. I will go to my cigar club, have a cigar, everything. I'm not messing around with it. I'm sure other people are the same way. I don't know about you when it comes to fishing. And I'm like, if it's cold, you go fishing, right?
So, first of all, will you golf in the rain?
If it's just, if I've already started and it's just a little drizzle and it will go away, yes. If it's like buckets, hell no. No, I'm not doing it.
You don't have any hair. It's not like it's going to get wet.
I still have to deal with, cold weather and wetness. And I'm not, look, dude, I'm 100% fair weather. If I was a fisherman like you, I would literally have like one of those. You ever see, like kids have those little parents. They have like a little soccer dome. They sit inside. It's a chair with a whole plastic, dome around them. I'd be like that with my pole with a little porthole. So just to do this.
You and a little porthole.
Matter of fact, I would actually wire it. I'd have it set up where I wouldn't even have to cast it. I'd hit the little button in the back and have somebody to shoot the little thing out and poof, push it out there.
So we had a brutal winter here weather-wise.
Yeah.
It segued into April. April, we had 2, beautiful days in the 70s and then back to 29 at night, some nights. May has felt like a normal April, drizzly, yuck. Usually I get out kicking it, freshwater fishing in March. This year it started April. Fishing's been great, been on a couple of charters, done a lot of shore fishing, saltwater for what in Maryland they call rock bass, what they call striped bass here. Been doing some flounder fishing, which is a great whitefish to eat. Been doing some freshwater bass fishing, which I just return to the water because there's too much pollutants in it. Yeah. But I'm nervous about wind. We have had 28-mile-an-hour winds again today. I've been on my boat 3 times and went in since May 1st. So we'll see. Real world problems. You know what I mean? I could have a lot worse issues.
Old rich white guy problems.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have a question it's a fish question. So I've always saw stuff like, made with whitefish. I always thought, is there a fish called whitefish? I don't know.
There is. You idiots in your big lakes. I went to Michigan once. They fed me whitefish. It goes, no, it's a real fish. It sucked. It was horrible. I'm also picky because I'm from up here.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, you're Atlantic Ocean fish. So let's talk a little bit about, let's talk more about buying a home. Is it a good time? Sure. Should I wait for the rates or prices to drop? Let's unpack the whole thing. The case of buying a home now. Well, inventory is slow. It's improving, but it is low.
It's been low for 3 years. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, sellers, I think it's when it comes to concessions and repairs and, or that buy down, which we don't, I never do that. I think that's a stupid option to do for people. But, the concessions or the repairs, I think what I'm truly seeing is, the sellers may be willing to do some concessions or they're like, well, we want this much for the house. And then, we want 100,000 for the house. We'll add 4,000. We'll make it 104. We'll pay 4,000 of your closing costs. That's what I'm seeing in our area. As far as repairs, I'm seeing buyers basically saying, hey, this is bad. This is bad. I either drop the price, give me concessions, or I'm done. I'm walking away. And I'm seeing buyers now becoming more stronger and more, hey, I'm not buying this crap for full price. Either you do this, or I'll kick sand. I'll find someone else. Let some other sucker buy your home. How are you guys seeing it out there?
So naturally, I read things that 2 out of 10 houses are falling out for inspection issues. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's, out there. One of the big concerns of upping the price in certain markets as the house won't appraise.
Yep.
So we are seeing, again, the bottom third to fourth of pricing of homes. I'm making it up.
Yep.
1 to 250 is the bottom, 250 to 500, then 500 is whatever. But that bottom quarter, wherever, is hot as hell. Those houses are flying off the market. It's that next step up, and others, there isn't a lot of inventory or anything. There isn't a lot in that first time. But people were coming back when the rates were about a half a point, 0.375 better than they are now. The fact of the matter in my market is renting is still extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting people over the affordability issue. One of the things I've talked about on this podcast, outside on my Facebook, is buy a 3-bedroom, rent out a room to a friend. Everybody's putting their tongues or other things in the wrong place. They get in trouble. They need a room, especially fire and policemen. Sorry, guys and gals. But I have friends that, you just rent out a room. Now it offsets. I have people come to me and say, I'm going to get a 1-bedroom condo. I go, don't. Minimum, we get a 2-bedroom. Life happens. So we're seeing the rent piece. My concern, we are starting to see concessions in certain markets, but overall in that lower, and it's different in every market price.
Yeah.
That bottom fourth is hot as hell because people do want to get in. I'm seeing the same thing as you though. Inspections are killing deals, and people don't seem to be getting along well. Buyers and sellers because of stress. Because sellers still think they're in power, and buyers have become more in power. And realtors, as a general, not all you realtors, but many don't remember the golden rule. Let's all get along.
Yeah.
Let's buy up. Let's think about how to get the deal done if it works for everybody, or walk away peacefully. Instead of seeing a lot of pissing and moaning, kind of like our political world. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. 2 little boys peeing on each other in a sandbox is how I see some of these realtors, not all, but a lot of the deals are becoming really nasty. And I'm a big believer of, we got enough stress in our life. Get along or end it quickly.
Yep.
So
when you guys close in your state, when you do a closing, did you, let's say prior to COVID, did you guys do a round table closing? Do you know what that means? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've always done that as well.
And then on all sides, realtors.
Yep.
Now it's not that way.
Everybody was like, there was only a few occasions where like, hey, we want separate closings because maybe,
divorce.
Seller's a jerk. And I'm being nice for monetization purposes. Or the buyers, they just don't get along or whatever. I don't care.
That was rare. It was rare.
Yeah.
Now it's rare.
It's different because you get some people who are like, there's such this, and I'm like, why? Why are you being that way? Look, you want to sell your home. They want to buy your home. Now, you might think your home is worth this, but data says it's not. And honestly, did you pay full price? No. So why are you demanding something like that? It's just, or are they mad at them because they wanted to get at least a better deal? And I think that is true, though. I think the realtors do, and that, again, not all, not my agents, but there are some agents out there that, God forbid, they pick up the goddamn phone. I mean, seriously, pick up your phone and call somebody. They call, the agents call them, they text them, no response. You know what? That's the most unprofessional thing I've ever, it's just stupid. It's dumb. We're all trying to get a business done. We're all trying to help people out. Why be a dink about it?
So two things to tie out on this, and admitting offended. People in every way are getting offended. So the sellers feel as though they've already given in. And the buyers feel like they're coming way further than they want because of affordability.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're seeing deals end, because people are getting offended, people can't communicate. Yeah. Now back to the round table closing, that's dead in my state. What do you mean?
We still do them, very few. No.
So here, I don't even attend most of my very few closings. unlike you guys. Here's why. So number one, the seller's agents are not there at all. Usually the attorney has already done the paperwork for the sellers and dropped it off to the buyer's attorney's office. We're not doing the registry of deeds where we used to. Some registry of deeds have shrunk down. The reality is they can e-record everything now. I have buyer's agents that actually are going to the walkthrough but not going to the closing. So for me as the mortgage person personally, it was to build a relationship with everybody. I've already built that relationship with that client for 45 days. If at the closing there's an issue, I'm calling them the day before saying, hey, just call me. 1 out of 30, attorney calls me and says, hey, Michael's a question. It's usually Michael says, did I really take out new debt or did I not? Here's what it is. How do I answer this? I changed jobs 6 months ago. It's that very detailed client, but otherwise, in the case of waiting on rates, you know what? I've said it once, I'm going to say it a million times. If you are living in Shane's basement, or if you're living in one of Shane's multifamilies and you are Shane's child, and you're not paying daddy much rent because mommy says you don't need to, then stay there. But if you are paying a lot in rent, you're paying 100% interest. So if you're paying X and you're going to pay 25% more on X and you can afford it, it's time to buy. Well, if you can't, it's not. But the reality is there is not a bad time to buy. You're going to be able to have a dog. You're going to be able to store. You're going to be able to do whatever. So as far as waiting and then the biggest barrier of monthly payments, it's affordability for everything. Yep. I don't care which freaking political party. Someday I'm going to buy you a wig and me and you are going to be the wig party from the 1600s. We're going to run for politics. But the reality is affordability is a huge issue. But so are rents, for God effing sake. Yeah. So if you can buy, stop looking at the rates. No, I'm not all about date the rate, buy the house, because we were taught 2008. Rates didn't get better for a long time. I don't know where rates are going. Yeah. If I did, I would have Shane shaving my head daily because I would be a multimillionaire and that would be his job. Yeah, and your little fishing vest. I think you're right. I think when it comes to rates, here's the thing. Yeah, you can wait. Absolutely, you can wait for the rates to drop. When that's going to happen, nobody knows. So-called experts can say, but they're full of crap. Nobody knows. It's no different than your little gypsy guy sitting over with a Ed's type of head and shining it and reading only the future. Buddha may know. There you go. But then the biggest thing is you got to factor. I know our area at a minimum, and this is the crappier areas in our area are growing 3%. So as you're waiting for that rate to drop to save maybe $50, $100, you're going to pay that much money, in the long time for a higher price on a house. And the last point on that is when you wait, more people are in the market. That's going to boost that price even more than whatever the normal percentage is in the market, because you bring in more demand because others are waiting like you. So I don't like the date the rate. Yeah, I hate that term. You got to be able to sleep with your payment. That's it. Yeah. Assume you're having that payment forever. Period. Not, I always tell people, it's not one size fits all. Mortgages are not one size fits all. Trust me, if two people know what one size fits all is not true, it's Ed and I, because I can tell you there's some pants that we can't fit into, and shirts. He should speak for himself. I'm about 5 feet taller than him and weigh about 40 pounds less. Yeah. I don't have the big muscles he has. I got the big brain. And chunk. I'm selling fat. You remind me of a chunk I'd like to throw in the ocean. Muscular fat. I could use you for bait for a big shark. That'd be a beautiful. Sure, Janelle would love that. I'm sure. Hey, trust me, I'm better. I'm worth a lot more dead than alive. But so how do you decide on? Go through that. How do you decide? I mean, here's what I always tell people. Look, you can go online and punch in
numbers, but it's best to talk to somebody who actually knows what they're doing. The fact is, if you're like, hey, I want to buy a house, and what would my payment be? Well, we can, I don't have to run your credit. I can give you assume, asking you certain questions and assume X and say, okay, well, if this was correct, this is what your rate would be today. And we're not going to sit there and play the BS, Rocket Mortgage who sucks crap game where we're going to say, oh, your rate's at, 4%, but they're charging you, 3 points and all this other crap. Look, we're going to be legitimately honest with you. That's how we do it. If you don't like the truth, probably don't talk to us. But we're going to tell you what the payment would be. And give you a potential on refinancing. I mean, I have a client right now. They're like, well, we should, when the rates drop 1%, we should good. I go, your mortgage is $125,000. You probably want to wait for like a 2% drop for it to be savings. But go ahead, Ed.
We're talking two different subjects here. We're talking one, is it time to buy? Are you going to be in the house only a year? If so, can you rent it? And then we're talking a little bit about refinances. And I love what Shane brought up about refinances, which is, the measurement out there, which is wrong, is 1%. It really comes down to a break even. It comes down to, for some people, debt consolidation. Maybe it's going to put them in a better shape.
Yep.
For others, they need to increase their term for their cash flow because they're worried their husband, wife, girlfriend is going to get laid off. It's back to the glove. And my glove fits my hand, but Shane's hand's much smaller. Would be like, you could fit 2 hands.
I got a little baby. This is where, if I knew you were going to talk about it, I would have 3D printed, which, by the way, I bought a 3D printer, which is fun. I 3D printed like a little tiny baby hand. I think you're right, Ed. I think it talks about, when you're talking about lifestyle changes, and everything, you guys, we talk about that is it, what are you going to do in your timeline, like 2, 5, 10 years? The experts say, oh, every 7 years. Well, that's not true. I mean, in my case, I've been in my house for 29 years, something like that. So, or that's less than that. Anyway, a lot of years, over 20. And you have to look at everything in a whole.
In 32 years, I've been in 6 houses.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. So you're the average, I switch every so many years. So, but I think there's no universal answer is what we're saying. But the one universal thing is you have to talk to somebody, preferably us, talk to an expert, somebody who's going to be the honest, going to give you numbers. And then from there, you're the one who has to make that choice. The one thing Ed and I 100% guarantee, we guarantee it 100%, we will never make your mortgage payment. So you have to be comfortable with that. And if you aren't comfortable with that and you want to look at, start looking at homes, great. But chasing these stupid headlines is not a thing you want to do. So
I'm 100% in agreement. At the end of the day, when I show somebody just rough numbers, I'm like, this is what the bank says you can afford, but it's based off of gross. What number can you sleep at night at?
Yep.
But Shane, I think we should segue into, we've talked a lot, and we will in future episodes about affordability, but the big myth, 20% down. Let's get through that in a quick summary and ways to get that money.
So a lot of people will sit there and go, well, I think we need, we're saving our money we want to get 20% down. Okay. It's not required. 20% is not required. It's just the magic number to avoid PMI on a conventional loan. That's it. There's plenty of people out there that are putting 3%, 3.5%, 5%, 0% going VA or USDA. Matter of fact, I have a client who is pulling like 50 grand out of he's retiring, or he's got a retirement fund. He switched unions. So he's pulling that money out. He's putting 3% down. very little down, paying his closing costs. The rest of the money is purely to fix up the home and invest the rest, because he knows I'm not going to waste my money putting it on a credit card and paying BS interest. So that's where you have to, and I have a lot of clients. We are like, well, it was funny as he goes, well, what, if I do the 3, what if I put an extra, couple $1,000 down? I go, that's $12. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's not much extra, until you start putting substantial money down, it's really not that big of a boost to the payment. So
because it's over 30 years, the big thing for me, I've been in this 23 years, I'm being conservative with this statement. First time buyers, less than 15%, it's way less, are putting 20% down.
Yep.
Way less. And the 15 is mommy and daddy handed them money, grandma, they inherited money, or they had a car accident, or Shane, swerved in front of them and they sued him. Never. Whatever it might be. But in general, because if you wait, I have friends whose parents have been renters their whole lives because they've rented and never bought. And the biggest wealth, if you look at any 70-year-old's portfolio or 50-year-old, start with 50, is housing. The ones that don't versus do is like night and day.
Yep.
Gift funds. You can get a gift from a relative.
Yep.
You've got to be able to make the relative comfortable. You can't be alone. What I'm hearing up in my area is a lot of, won't the government give me a grant? Sometimes it's grants from cities, but they go away quickly.
Yeah, we do in the state of Ohio one. I love it. In Michigan, the Michigan one.
So we have a second mortgage, but it's not truly a grant. But to summarize, you don't need 20% down. Majority don't. If you wait to have it, you might never buy. You get the money in different ways.
Yep.
Shane brought up a bunch of different good programs. At the end of the day, you should have a conversation. Even if you don't think you're ready for 5 years, have a plan. That's it.
I have clients coming in Friday, 5 p.m. Yes, we do work late hours. It's not all about banking hours, and we're talking. And it is funny because they're a young couple, and when I have people who will say, "Well, can we meet in person?" I'm like, it throws me off. Because, we're in a stage of everybody wants to do everything online and over the phone or whatever. But when you get that, it's different. And so we're going to talk. We're sitting down talking about, they have some money but they don't want to burn through it all. They want to, it's basically, they want to do the right thing. And, that's the big thing is we're gonna look and see what works for you, run the numbers, and give you those ideas. But I think it's funny is like some of these things like what was it about? I heard a thing about waiting 20 years, waiting for the 20% is like trying to win a race while trying to tie your shoes slowly or something. I don't know. It's some stupid thing. It's funny is, you see or hear all these little dumb tagline things. I think it's always conversations. And, as far as parents, we don't care how nice they are. If they want to give you money, we have to document it. And that's the big thing about gift funds is documentation.
Unless the funds are in your account for 2 months, I don't give a shit where they came.
Yep. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we don't. We're only looking back 60 days. So,
one last big subject, and what Shane started is PMI. People think back to what we said, the 20%, but I gotta have 20% because I don't want to pay PMI and all these horrible things. It's like a horror movie of the guy slicing your throat and pulling your eyeballs out.
Yep.
It's really not that bad. as I said, more than 85% of my clients are not putting 20% down. It's probably close to 95, and most of those have PMI in some format.
It's not even that
Shane,
expensive.
can you go into the acronyms and the little words of PMI?
Yeah, it's just
kill the myth. Kill the myth, baby.
Well, PMI is not permanent. You know, it's, you know, unless you're like, here's the thing, like on FHA, if you put less than 10% down, you have to pay it for life. But assuming you never refinance
the outside of it.
Yeah. You know, some people think, well, you're throwing your money away. Are you? Because here's the thing. If you waited to get that 20% and it took you 5 years, and if the growth was 3% per year, you're paying a crap ton more money just to save that PMI. And a lot of people,
you're paying 100% interest on your rent during that time.
Yeah. Or you're living with your parents for 5 years. Look, I love my mom, but I love her 2.5 hours away. You know, there ain't no way I want her to live with my mom again. But it can be removed. You know, there is a timeline on those things, or an equity spot we can go over. But the funny thing is people, I was talking to a client and it's not that expensive. He's like, well, I told him how much the PMI was. I go, well, because of this. And it's only like, it was like $45 a month. He's like, that's it? Oh, I thought it was well over $100. I'm like, no, it's very low. The better your credit, honestly, the PMI is a lot lower because they know the risk is less because you're a person who likes to pay your bills on time.
And if you hit certain income limits, you get certain things.
Yeah, you get the special MI factors. Yeah. Well, heck yeah. I mean, always want to take advantage of that. I think Ed says it right. You know, if it's a matter of paying a little bit extra, but you're not renting. And technically PMI is tax deductible. Consult your tax advisor. But it is, depending on your market and your amount you can write off, it is a tax deductible benefit. So
the fact is PMI helps you buy a home, build equity and wealth, gets you out of that rental, and it's not your enemy.
Yeah.
I had a professional write that for me. Brian Gilligan, great job, by the way.
Yeah, Brian is so smart. He is a very intelligent man. Brian is, for those who don't know, Brian's Ed's junior loan officer, and Brian does a lot of the business because Ed's too busy fishing. Ed's the face of the company. Ed's the face of everything.
Ed does all the education, and then Ed is smart enough that the back end paperwork will be done more efficiently with Brian and Bandy, and that makes all my clients raving fans.
That's right.
I have over 700 reviews over all the platforms, lot more than Shane. But we are bigger than most.
Yeah, I have over 700 reviews. Here's the thing: I got a ton of them on Zillow, but now the way stupid Zillow's going, and I'm like, ugh. I know. Well, here's the thing. It was. I think we talked about enough for everybody for this month. I think there's to sum it up is call us. We'll educate you. That's the biggest. That's Shane's parting shot. It's not going to, talking to us is the first step. Doesn't mean, we're not scary. We're going to educate you. And well, he might be scary, but I mean, we're going to talk to you. We're going to help you, educate you to be ready. Ed, what's your parting shot?
My parting shot is allergies suck. I don't usually get them, but a lot of people do. So if so, get some Claritin, and that is who we want for a sponsor. So if you know anybody at Claritin, you should reach out to them and call us. My true parting shot is if you are ever in Ohio, in the Columbus area, I could set you up with a great guy, Brian. If you're in Toledo, first of all, don't know why you're there other than the mud ends, but you can look up Shane. And if you're ever to the wonderful state of Massachusetts and you want to come to Cape Cod, all you got to do is reach out. 774-592-5800. 573-0329. Farmer Ed, Fisherman Ed, Mortgage Ed, and Shane's Witch with a B. That'd be me.
By the way, I want to show you something. I have a Yeti here. This is my coffee Yeti. My kids got this for me, but I don't have it doesn't have some old man with a fish in one hand, a rake, or a horse.
I'm going to send you a sticker to put on it.
I would be more than proud to have a Farmer Ed sticker.
I'm going to make
and if you guys want a Farmer's Ed sticker, message him, call him, message us. Let us know on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whatever. We'll get you. As a matter of fact, if you want a shirt, a cool shirt that says Mortgage Dudes, and then the back, let me see if we can see it. Probably not. Can you see that? Probably.
No, you see it, found it.
I can't tell. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. Get a hold of us. We'll help you out. We'll give you some free gobbledygoo.
Final parting shot. My clients, not Shane's, and I'm in Colombia, the country of Colombia, New York City, on a roof, California, states that I can't be licensed because they're more liberal than my state. Why do I think that's getting cut out? Again, thank you, Shane. I feel something.
Good? You feel good for your day? Good. Well, hey, everybody, thank you very much. If you watch the whole thing, we appreciate it. Subscribe. It's free. It costs you nothing. And hey, you can always ask for a shirt or a Farmer Ed sticker. So I haven't come up with a Shane's Golf and Cigar sticker yet. Maybe I need it.
I'm sure Tiffany could create you something to make me look pretty.
Cigar in one hand, golf club in another. Usually the golf club is like smashing something.
She definitely makes you look a lot better than you do, baby.
Make a me holding a cigar in my mouth while I'm golfing, which is not true, but it would be me. So
thank you.
all right, thank you, everybody.